If you've ever sat at your kitchen table during AEP with two brochures in your hands, one saying PPO in big bold letters and the other saying HMO, and wondered, what's really the difference here, then this video is going to help you more than you know. And before we jump into it, comment your name and state below. I'd love to see who's watching and benefiting from these videos. I genuinely enjoy reading your comments and hearing where everyone is tuning in from. So let's talk about what's happening in 2026, because something pretty big is changing between PPO and HMO Medicare Advantage plans, and if you understand it now, you're going to avoid a lot of headaches later. This isn't one of those, oh, maybe this will matter someday, kind of updates. This is the kind of change that actually affects where you can go for care, how much you pay out of pocket, and even whether certain benefits will follow you when you travel. And trust me, this is a big one. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with something simple. I want you to picture someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's a loved one, sitting in a waiting room. You're there for a cardiology follow-up, because maybe you had a stent put in a few years back. While you're waiting, someone comes in frustrated, holding their insurance card. They're being told the cardiologist is out of network. And you hear them sigh, I thought my plan covered this. This scenario plays out every single day in this country, and in 2026, the gap between PPO and HMO is going to be even more important. Because one of these is becoming more flexible, and the other is tightening restrictions in ways many seniors won't hear about until they run into it at the doctor's office. In a very general sense, people usually describe PPO as more freedom, and HMO as more restrictions, but 2026 is the year where those little differences actually turn into big ones. So let me walk you through why. A lot of people think the difference between PPO and HMO is only about going in or out of network. That's part of it, yes. But the truth is deeper, it's about the philosophy behind the plan. HMOs are built on controlled care. They manage everything tightly, referrals, specialist access, your primary care doctor acting as the gatekeeper. PPOs, on the other hand, are built on choice. They let you self-navigate. They let you go out of network if you want, though you may pay more. But here's what many people don't realize, in 2026, more insurance companies are shifting benefits to favor PPO enrollees. And when I say benefits, I'm not just talking about dental and vision, though yes, we'll get to that too. I mean things like lower max out-of-pocket amounts, expanded out-of-network coverage, and even new travel-friendly features that HMOs simply won't offer. Let me give you an example. Last year I spoke with a woman named Linda. She lives in Arizona, but she travels to Wisconsin every summer to be close to her grandkids. Her HMO plan worked perfectly for her when she stayed home. $0 premium, low co-pays, great local doctors. But the moment she stepped outside her county, not her state, her county, she was stuck. Everything out of area had to run through emergency or urgent care rules. She couldn't see a specialist during the 3 months she was visiting family, even though she needed a simple follow-up appointment with an endocrinologist. Now fast forward to 2026. Plans like hers are tightening even more. HMOs will increasingly rely on local networks, and many won't allow flexibility for people who live one lifestyle in winter and another in summer. Snowbirds are going to feel this the most. But on the other side of this, we have PPOs. And in 2026, PPOs are expanding, in a big way. Companies are increasing their out-of-network reimbursement percentages. Some PPOs are even offering nationwide networks for certain specialties. This is the shift most seniors aren't hearing about, and it's why one big change is going to separate PPO and HMO options more than ever before. Let's bring in a real-life scenario here. Imagine John, 67 years old, newly retired, enjoying life, playing golf twice a week. He's healthy, doesn't take many medications, and thinks, why pay more if I don't need to? So he enrolls in an HMO because the benefits look fantastic on paper. Until one day he wakes up with chest discomfort. His primary doctor wants him to see a cardiologist, but the one he trusts, the one his brother used, is out of network. So now John has to pick someone new, someone he's never met, all because his plan restricts him to a closed network. Stories like this are exactly why PPO enrollment has been growing year after year. And 2026 will likely be another year where many seniors choose PPO over HMO for one very specific reason: the out-of-network rules. One of the biggest 2026 changes has to do with how insurance companies handle out-of-network claims. Some of the major carriers have announced plans to standardize out-of-network reimbursement styles. This means PPO members will get more predictable costs, even outside the network. It's not perfect coverage, but it's a whole lot better than being locked into an HMO and having nowhere to go. Now, let's talk about something almost everyone cares about: dental. Dental is a hot button right now, especially with 2026 changes. Dental coverage inside Medicare Advantage is becoming a marketing battlefield, companies trying to offer bigger allowances, higher annual maximums, and even comprehensive full-mouth coverage in some markets. But here's the important part: PPOs in 2026 are more likely to allow out-of-network dental freedom. In other words, you get to choose the dentist you already know and trust. Many HMOs, on the other hand, are going to tighten dental networks. It won't affect everyone, but it will affect enough people that it's worth paying attention to now instead of after the fact. Let's paint another scene. You're sitting in your dentist's chair, and he tells you that your plan no longer works in his office. Maybe he used to accept it, maybe he doesn't anymore. And you're thinking, but I've gone here for years. That's the exact moment when PPO flexibility becomes priceless. However, and this is where the story gets interesting, not everyone should automatically choose a PPO. Some people are perfect fits for an HMO. If you're someone who stays local, sees the same doctors, hardly travels, and wants the absolute lowest cost structure possible, then an HMO might still be the best value for you. HMOs often offer lower specialist co-pays, richer extra benefits, even lower drug costs. And in 2026, many HMO networks will remain strong in urban and metro areas. It's the people who travel, or people with multiple specialists, or people who want provider freedom, who will feel the biggest impact of the 2026 changes. There's also the issue of referrals. HMOs usually require referrals to see specialists. PPOs don't. And in 2026, referral requirements are tightening, not loosening. This means more people will unknowingly run into delays. If you've ever waited 3 weeks for your primary care doctor to approve a referral, you understand how frustrating that can be. Let's say you have a sudden flare-up of a chronic condition, diabetes, heart issues, COPD, arthritis, anything. If your plan requires a referral and your primary doctor is booked out, you're stuck waiting. PPOs eliminate that problem. For many seniors, the ability to self-direct their care is more important than they ever realized. Something else big that's happening in 2026, PPO max out-of-pocket amounts are stabilizing, while many HMO maximums are creeping upward. Not everywhere, but enough that seniors need to check. A lower MOOP means you're protected financially if something major happens. The trend we're seeing is that PPOs are closing the gap. A lot of 2026 PPO options will have MOOPs that look surprisingly close to HMO options. And when the gap narrows, the flexibility advantage becomes even more valuable. Earlier this year, I spoke with a couple from Michigan, Tom and Sharon. They'd been on an HMO for 3 years and swore they'd never leave it. Then Tom needed knee replacement surgery. The surgeon they wanted was out of network. They had 2 choices: accept the plan's in-network surgeon, someone Tom wasn't confident in, or switch to a PPO next AEP. They chose the PPO the next year, and after the surgery, Sharon literally told me, "I will never be in a plan that tells me who I can and can't see again." That's exactly the kind of situation PPOs protect you from. And 2026 is the first year where more carriers than ever are highlighting the difference. Let's also address the question people ask constantly: what about the premium? Aren't PPOs more expensive? Surprisingly, not always. In 2026, some PPOs will again offer $0 premiums, even in competitive markets. So you might actually get a PPO with a $0 premium and nationwide access. That's something that didn't exist widely 8 to 10 years ago, but it's becoming normal now. Another thing seniors need to look for this coming year is how drug plans differ inside the HMO and PPO structure. Some companies offer better formularies on their PPO versions. This is subtle, most people don't catch it, but if your medication list includes expensive brand names, a PPO might actually save you more in the long run. Let's talk about travel again, because 2026 is a big year for retirees moving around more. This whole generation of seniors is more mobile than the generation before. They travel more, stay with family longer, and split time between states more often. PPOs make that possible. HMOs do not. Imagine you go to Florida for 2 months and you want to see a dermatologist because a mole changed color. If you're on an HMO, your doctor back home must give you a referral, and even then, the dermatologist in Florida may not be covered at all. PPOs avoid this. You simply go. You might pay a higher copay, but the visit is covered. One of the biggest surprises seniors have when I explain this is how simple PPO out-of-network coverage actually works. But in 2026, it becomes even more standardized, which is why the gap between these two types of plans is only going to get bigger. Now let me share one more simple example, because this one hits home for a lot of people. Imagine you move. Maybe it's across town. Maybe across state lines. HMOs are extremely sensitive to location. Move outside your county, your HMO disappears. Move across states, and your HMO is instantly gone. PPOs follow you much more easily. This flexibility alone is going to matter for thousands of seniors in 2026 as people relocate, downsize, or move closer to their adult children. Another important piece is how PPOs and HMOs handle care coordination. HMOs are highly managed. PPOs are loosely managed. But here's the part that matters: chronic condition management. HMO models require tighter coordination. PPOs allow you to manage your chronic conditions with whichever specialists you trust, even if they're out of network. And finally, let's talk about dental again because 2026 is one of the biggest dental expansion years for Medicare Advantage. Many PPOs are opening their dental networks and allowing out-of-network dentists with competitive reimbursement. HMOs will still offer great dental benefits, but many will restrict you to network dentists. If your dentist leaves the network, something that happens often, you're suddenly forced to change providers. PPOs avoid that entirely. So here's the truth: in 2026, the difference between PPO and HMO is simpler than ever before. If you want flexibility, travel freedom, nationwide coverage, and fewer roadblocks, PPOs are stepping into a stronger position. If you want low costs, rich local benefits, and your doctor is firmly in network, HMOs still offer tremendous value. But the big change, the one I want you to remember, is how much more flexible PPOs will be in 2026. Everything from out-of-network benefits to dental freedom to travel access is leaning in the PPO direction this year. And most seniors won't hear about it until after they've already chosen their plan. If you want personalized help comparing the PPO and HMO options in your zip code, the doctors you see, your drug list, your travel habits, you know where to find us. We help people every single day understand these choices, and we'd be happy to help you too. And don't forget, drop your name and state in the comments below. I love seeing where you're watching from. And if this video helped you understand the 2026 changes, make sure to give it a like. It really helps this channel reach more people who need accurate, unbiased Medicare information.